Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We are finally back after a week of being apart. It's good to see you all again. Welcome in. Look at this Deacon fellow we have over here. Look at that. I think the model is turning out very nicely. There's an echo. What the freak? How? There's an echo? Oh, okay, cool. Gotcha. Hello, Lowest Expectations. Hello, Enchanted BB Fly and Swirl and Oscar, Celestial. Welcome in, everybody. This should be fun. I'm really looking forward to finally having him not be an NPC. Up to the standard of the other characters. Nicholas is also going to get a very slight redesign, but slight. His horns need to be consistent with the other Tonic Took People horns, and I need to make him also a little bit more older looking, just slightly. So that he doesn't look like he's 8 years old. Alright, so one of the things that I usually have to do first is start filling in the colors. With big fill in brushstrokes. 1 second, let me do that on layer 1. No uncanny valley. Yeah, exactly. Do they have DJs on this planet? No. Unless you're seriously going with the old, like, disc jockey interpretation, in which case I suppose there is technically, like, the radio hosts are disc jockeys, I suppose. But I don't think DJ was a term in the 40s. I might be mistaken. Currently, we are listening to 3 hours of emotional Genshin music. Melancholic OST collection. Cat's Library, I'm afraid I can't answer that yet because I haven't done a lot of deep diving on developing the 50s planet just yet. Ah, yes. Work mode activated. Of course. Oh yeah, I need to do the stream goal. Hold on. Wait, how do I... Wait, what? Oh, okay, hold on. We're gonna do a goal of $5 super... we're gonna do a goal of 5 $10 super chats. And again, if you do one of the $10 ones, you get to write a message on Deacon's model. As long as it's appropriate. Okay, there we go. If you're going to make another spin-off game, would it be on the adorable 30s planet? Yes, that's the plan, actually. Welcome in, Ivana. This character, his name is Deacon, but he is not a deacon. Maybe he will be in the future. Yeah, it's probably just gonna be inside the model for the hidden messages. There are a couple places, like on the back of the eyeballs and parts of the hair that are inside the model, like right here, would be a good place for a message. So Deacon can be a regular name for a person? I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm the one tripping. I thought it was also a normal name. Ivana says, I love your updated designs of the characters, especially the chef. He gives the vibes of John Silver from Treasure Planet. Oh, that's a good comparison. Thank you. I love that movie. Ah, dang it, wrong brush. Okay, there we go. The message could be on the strap, yeah. On the inside of it. Okay. He doesn't have his glasses on right now because... Oh, oops. Hold on. It's hard to paint when there's glasses on your face, so... Okay, we're about to get to some actual painting over here. In just a minute. Okay. Now we're about to get into some actual painting. Let me save. And then let's freeze his face. If he does have a camera model, I'm just gonna have it be separate. I'm not gonna worry about having that model be always a part of his model. It'll just be a separate mesh thing. Okay, where did I put his neck on here? Where's his neck? There? No. Dang it. Hold on. You're gonna have to use the bright pink method again to find it on the texture sheet. Ah, there it is. Right there. Wunderbar. Okay. Now let's paint. My favorite part, painting the face. I always gotta start with your favorite part. Oh, I love that movie. Emperor's New Groove. So good. Bring it on. Oh, I haven't ever watched Cats Don't Dance. If it's free on YouTube, I'll have to give it a watch. Oh, I love Atlantis, The Lost Empire. Yes. Amazing movie. Hello, Project Seltzer. Welcome in. Yeah, Atlantis is so good. It's so classic. Classic adventure movie. Oh, I love The Great Mouse Detective. That is one of my favorites when I was a kid. I had it on VHS and I would watch it a lot. It was so fun. I know this looks crazy right now, but trust the process. I think my ambient occlusion bake was a little too dark, so I'm trying to do some things here. Make a good base to work off of. Hello. Ziggurat made a donation that says, on the camera case strap, this machine makes girls blush. Okay. Is that... I don't know. Is the implication there that him taking photos of them makes them blush, or... I guess. Let's see, let's see. I shall write that. I'll put a little layer for notes. Let's do it in... Oh, darn, that's right. Freeze. Inverts, freeze. This machine. Sorry, my handwriting is terrible. This machine makes girl blush. Oh my gosh. Okay, there it is. It's officially on his model now. Good job. Thank you so much for the donation. Much appreciated. We know he's a Chad. I shoot people meaning they take pictures. Yeah, that's great. They can blush. They do still have like some color to their skin, hence why you see the pink under the eyelids here. They do blush to a certain extent. Yeah, Kelly Sheridan voiced Starlight Glimmer, and she also voices Barbie in a lot of the older movies. I remember that. That was definitely a cute little fun fact. Oh yeah, it didn't add to the goal. That's strange. Huh. Well, if we do get 4 other donations, I will count that as a goal fulfilled. Oh, I finished Mouse PI Detective for Hire this week. I do have to say, I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I thought I would. I think the campaign went on a tad too long, like maybe 2 hours too long. And I liked the story, but I didn't really feel very attached to any of the characters very much. I was just kind of like, oh, these are fun characters, and that's kind of it. So, I enjoyed the game quite a bit, but the gameplay was not deep enough to be an 11-hour campaign, I think. And I wish the characters were more, I don't know, interesting? I don't know how to describe it. They just weren't really grabbing me. But it's a good game. I wouldn't say that just because it's a shooter it doesn't bother with the characters is the best excuse, because even the game does focus on the story quite a bit. Like, it's not like the story is supposed to be some kind of footnote, like in other boomer shooters. But actually the characters were focused on quite a bit, but in kind of bizarre ways, and I think one of the biggest issues is there's just too many characters. And none of them were super interesting. Or because there's too many characters, no singular character was really given enough development or screen time to really get attached to, I guess. And even the ones that do have a lot of dialogue aren't that compelling to me. Even our titular character isn't super compelling either. And also, for a game that is based on cartoons, it wasn't very funny. So, like, sure, there were some visual gags with the weapons that you get. When they kill enemies, there's some really great, fun visual gags, but outside of that, there weren't that many gags. And the dialogue was also not very funny. It was just okay. The dialogue was okay. It was serviceable. Though sometimes it straight up made references that were kind of cringy a couple times, and that didn't fit the setting at all. Like, they make a "I have the high ground" joke in one of the boss fights, and I don't know, it just doesn't fit the setting at all. It just kind of took me out of it. I don't mind there being referential humor in a cartoon game, because the 40s referenced a whole bunch of stuff in their cartoons. But, I have the high ground? I don't know, man. It just doesn't fit. It takes you out of it. They need to reference old movies from that era, generally, not "I have the high ground, Anakin." And also, one of the mice calls himself a Sigma. Yes, he actually does. In this 1930s inspired video game, mouse calls himself a Sigma. That also really took me out of the experience. I don't know why they did that. Needless to say, Noramore Academy will not have the characters call themselves Sigmas. I think that is, it really just kind of immediately makes you remember you're playing a modern day video game, which kind of sucks. Again, it was a good game. I'm just talking about the stuff that I didn't like, which unfortunately took it down a few points for me. I would still say it's worth a playthrough. It just wasn't as good as I was hoping, personally, as someone who really loves that era. I think my favorite bit about the mouse game, was how varied the environment art was and how gorgeous the environment art was. The environments were so well done and beautiful, and all of the settings were amazing and perfect. Like, every setting felt like it came right out of the background art of a cartoon. They did an incredible job with the environment art. It was super immersive, and you could tell they watched a bunch of those cartoons because so much of the settings seemed to come right out of the cartoons, especially the Mad Scientist Lab and the haunted house level, and it might be a spoiler to say too much more, but there's one level in particular that's near the end of the game that is in itself a reference to another boomer shooter, but it does make sense because a bunch of cartoons would have that, at the time, would also have that setting. I would say the shooting felt good. There wasn't enough enemy variety, and the shooting wasn't so fun that it justified having an 11 to 12 hour campaign, in my opinion. It's like, again, it's a solid game, it's just not to the heights that I wish it was, I guess. But I'm still very glad I played it because I did enjoy it quite a bit. I just wish the writing was tighter and the characters were more interesting. The main villain of the game, who ends up being the final boss, I won't spoil, don't worry, even though they pretty much spoil who it is at the start of the game, which is kind of strange for a detective story to do, by the way. You barely know this villain at all, barely see this villain. I don't think you even talk to this villain until the final boss. It's very strange. So he doesn't really feel like much of a final boss as much as a final obstacle. However, so there's like no, you know, character build-up between our protagonist and the final boss. So there's no real back and forth that feels meaningful at all. It was very strange. In fact, a lot of the bosses felt like they just kind of come out of nowhere. That doesn't, and that doesn't, that's not a bad thing for most of them. It just, for some of them that are supposed to be rather meaningful to the story, it just feels like this is, again, I think this is part of the fact that I just think there's too many characters in the game, maybe. Also, this is gonna sound so bad for me to say, I agree a little bit with that IGN reviewer who was saying there were too many cheese jokes. At first, I thought that review sounded ridiculous because, like, this is the cartoon mouse game. Of course there's going to be a bunch of cheese jokes. That comes with the territory. That sounds fine with me. The problem for me was that cheese was used to replace so many different concepts that it was kind of impossible to figure out what they were talking about sometimes. Like, sometimes cheese represents drugs, illicit drugs. Sometimes cheese represents wine, or other alcohol. Sometimes cheese refers to just normal food. And sometimes it refers to, like, other stuff. It was very bizarre. So sometimes when they're making these cheese puns, I don't know what they're even talking about. And so the dialogue gets a little confusing. It's not that there's a billion cheese puns, it's that it's not really consistent as to what cheese is supposed to represent in the story, I guess. So it can be a little confusing. I think later on they do make it more clear that blue cheese is specifically, like, hard illicit drugs or something. But, so at least with blue cheese you're able to get that a little more. You're able to understand that bit a little more. But, again, it was just a little strange. It took too long to kind of catch on to what they were doing with each kind of cheese. I just also wish it was funnier. I wish the dialogue was funnier and not just references. Again, I think people critiqued on how many references there are, because I don't think there's necessarily that many. And again, references were a part of a lot of the humor of these older cartoons, especially references to Hollywood at the time, or political wars and things like political warfare and things like that. But it's like the quality of some of the references and placement of some of them I just did not think was very good. But man, those levels were cool. I loved the levels a lot. I loved exploring around these areas. I I liked the movement, though part of me was super confused why there was no air dash. Because you can dash to dodge stuff, and you can double jump, but you cannot dash while you're jumping, and that felt super unnatural to me, because when I'm playing a platformer, and this basically had platformer movement, yeah, you can dash in the air in most platformers with a double jump and a dash. You can dash in the air. So not having that ability was weird to me, because I felt like in a movement shooter, like a boomer shooter, I should be moving around as much as possible, and that means jumping and dashing and jumping and dashing. So when I couldn't dash mid-jump, it felt awkward, and it felt like, oh, I guess I'm just supposed to stay on the ground the entire time, so what's the point of the double jump? It was weird. It was a weird decision. I know I'm being super critical, but I feel like most people are kind of glazing the game, so I might as well get some of my own kind of critiques about it out there. Because I understand the glaze, because it is a really unique and fun thing, and the devs worked really hard on it, so I don't want to take away from that at all. It's just there's some stuff I really felt was a missed potential, I think. If they had given me an air dash, I think that would have helped the game play out a lot for me. You can't give me a dash and then a double jump, and don't let me chain them together. I need to chain those things together if you give them to me, okay? It was also too easy. But and there was just too many pickups around you all the time. So it started to become annoying because there was so much ammo always around you as a pickup that you were almost always filled up on a lot of your ammo, which then made it so that there's just a bunch of ammo packs that are bouncing around and getting in your face that you can't even pick up. So it feels like I'm trying to, pick everything up and be a little completionist, but when there's all these ammo packs but I'm full all the time, bouncing around me, it feels bad that I can't pick up everything, I guess. Maybe that's extremely petty complaint, but that's how I felt. Hold on, now I'm interested if there's an air dash mod. Air dash mouse PI for hire. Let me see, mouse PI for hire mods. Increased auto pickup. Oh, that makes sense. Sorry, I'm trying to... There's a weapon scale mod. There's a skip intro, ultra wide fix. Huh. There's not many... Oh, there's only like 18 mods for mouse PI for hire on Nexus mods. Oh, doing a color setting for that game would be a whole host of work, because they probably made all the settings on black and white, all of the assets in black and white, like I'm doing. So you can't just like add a color filter. It wouldn't work. To make a color version of mouse PI for hire would take a lot of time. Yeah, I'd have to color in all the assets individually. Yo, 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 Trent Cade Music. Welcome to the chat. What's up? Hey guys, this is Trent, Kate. He's working on some of the Bard songs for Noirmore Academy. Welcome into the chat. I have seen Detective Pikachu. I don't think it's a very good movie, but I remember liking it when I first saw it. You think Deacon gets done today? Probably not. I just started working on his textures, so it's probably going to be at least 2 more streams after this, maybe 3 more. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. But he's off to a good start, I'd say. I think he's still looking a little too old, but I'm working on it. Hold on. Oh, I think I'm figuring out what I don't like about this. Yeah, that helps. I think the most memorable thing about Detective Pikachu was Mewtwo. Have I played the game? No. It didn't really interest me. It just seemed like a detective game for like younger kids, you know. I didn't think it seemed super interesting. I was not in the target age demographic. Snivy is adorable. Snivy was also my favorite in Black and White. Something about him is looking off to me. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Oh, my favorite Pokemon is probably Xerneas or Fennekin. But that's because I started with Gen 6. Which I know is kind of late for a Pokemon fandom my age. I started with X and Y, and then I played White. Is it the eye bags, you think? That might be it. Yeah, Gen 6 has a lot of good quality Pokemon designs, IMO. I really like Fennekin. He's such a cute little fox. And Brakeson and Delphox are adorable little kind of mage characters. I'm not generally a fan of humanoid Pokemon, but Delphox and Brakeson really, I warmed up on them because they were my first evolutions, you know? Does anyone still play Pokemon Go? I don't know. I think people do. I think they do. It's just more niche now. Did you know if you play Pokemon Go, your data is being used to train, like, Amazon delivery robots and stuff? That's a true fact, by the way. Nothing we do in this world is not being monetized in some way, apparently. We are the product, yep. You were scrolling TikTok the other day and saw a professional Pokemon Go tournament going on. That's crazy. I didn't even know you could have a tournament with Pokemon Go. That's kind of funny. Good for, you know what, good for them. Good for them for having fun with that. Yep, exactly, Trent. Yep. What else? I think I'm so used to using this sort of angular style to paint adults that when I'm now back to painting a kid, I'm kind of struggling a little bit because I want to add all these like angular features and slight wrinkles and stuff that just making a character that's more young and smooth looking is kind of actually a little difficult, even if technically that means I have to paint less detail. I'm just so used to painting the adult characters at this point. It's been a while since I've done a kid character. That tournament was so unentertaining, not gonna lie. Yeah, I bet, because the gameplay of Pokemon Go is not very entertaining to watch, I would think. Like, how do you even battle again? I don't remember. Trent, you've been playing anything lately that you've been enjoying? Or been focused on the move and such? What if you win 10 million? True. Do that makes it look too old. Ah! This is tricky. You know what? I think would be a good idea to do. I'm going to look up some League of Legends characters for some good reference for painting. Specifically, I'm going to look up some of the Yordle characters. Because those are kind of more cute kid looking characters in League of Legends. Okay, so I like to use this website right here to get good reference for hand-painted art, because League of Legends has some incredible hand-painted art. Trent says, of course, CS2 is always a staple, but you got back addicted to Overwatch? Oh man, you got back into Overwatch. Good luck. Good luck getting out of that addiction. Let's see. Oh, we could look at Annie. Annie's usually a good reference for a kid character. Let's see. Who else? Let's look at... Oh, Briar. She kind of looks young, I guess. But she's still an adult. We'll see. Let's see. Gwen, maybe? See, where are the Yordles? Ah, there's Lulu. Oh, Milio. Milio is a great reference. And Nunu. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let's look at Milio first. He's a little younger than... Okay, let's see, let's see. Look at that way that hair is painted. It's so pretty. And look at the way this bottle is painted too. These artists are so talented. So I'm gonna grab some reference here. Again, he's a little bit younger than what I'm going for, but it's still good reference nonetheless. Look at the way that he has that like rosy line on the skin here, and then it's a little more yellowish in the highlights. That is an excellent use of color, which I cannot do because I'm not using color, unfortunately. Okay, let's look at one of his other skins. Let's try Fairy Court Milio. I think it's pretty much the same face texture. Maybe Rain Shepherd? Oh, look how cute. So adorable. But yeah, it's still pretty much the same texture, so I think we're good. Oh, he does have little fangs. I think they're more just supposed to be the canine teeth, though. And they're a little more pronounced so you can actually see them, because you're meant to see this character from like this far away on the screen. Okay, now let's try Lulu. We'll have to do one of her newer models because her old model is very ugly. Let's see. Oh. Yeah, again, keep in mind these models are meant to be seen from this far away. I don't know if I really need this reference, but I'll take a little picture anyway. Now let's look at Lilia. Let's look at Petals of Spring Lilia. This one is so beautiful. Look at this, guys. Look at this model. Goodness gracious. The detail is crazy. Oh, I got her like mid-sneeze or something. Look at that. Beautiful. Great reference. Let's go Battle Queen Gwen. Again, I don't know if I actually really need this, but might as well build up a repertoire. Yeah, I don't really need it. Battle Academia Briar. Yeah, a little too old looking. Yo, I didn't know this skin existed. I haven't played League in a while. That's really cool. Let's try Battle Princess Annie. That's some good reference for a child character. Alright, grab reference, grab screenshot, and put it in my reference bin. And Nunu and Willump. We'll do that as the last one. Let's see, maybe Cosmic Paladins? Okay, there we go. We have a collection of references from League of Legends painting now. But I think I'm mostly going to look at Milio's face here. I would really love to get another mentorship someday. Specifically, what I'd really like to get a mentorship is for environment art. Because there's so much more I want to learn about environment art and optimizing it. Do you like the Spider-Verse movies? I do. I really like them. I'm very excited for the next one. Hopefully it's good. There is a more Spider-Man, yep. He's a great character. Hello, Division. Welcome into the chat. Oh yeah, the weed whacker isn't here today. Interesting. We don't have our mowing lawn ASMR this time. Does it get cold on this planet? Wait, sorry. Since it gets cold on this planet, do they have heaters? Oh, definitely. For sure. Division says, first time watching the art maker. Well, thank you very much for joining us. It's always great seeing new people pop in. It's been a little bit more of a quiet stream today. I haven't been chatting too much. I can't really think of much to chat about. I was earlier talking a little bit about Mouse PI. Let's see, the next game I'm probably going to be playing is... Well, recently I've been playing Genshin because of the new Archon Quest update. But recently I've been also, when I actually have the time, I have been playing some more Deadlock. I've been trying to actually get decent at Deadlock because I love Valve games and the Deadlock characters are so great. So I've been trying to, I don't have a lot of time to play multiplayer games anymore, but I've been playing a bit of Deadlock when I can. And I have started playing Reanimal with Cranky Corvid, who works on the game, for those who don't know. She's our assistant environment artist. And Reanimal has been really interesting so far. don't play the Genshin game because some of the characters have demon names. Oh, I am aware of that. I'm not a huge fan of that, but I don't believe it's being used in a way that's intentionally demonic or anything. But it depends on the person, of course. I believe they're not necessarily using any sort of demonic names that are actually in the Bible in any case. I believe most of them are being used from, what was it called? The Key of Solomon? Which is a non-canonical text. Like, those demons are not actually in the Bible. That's a whole other discussion, but... But of course. Alright, I think that's... Oh yes, common side effects. Isn't that great? Okay, I think it's starting to look better now. I'm gonna give him less of a neck, because, well, not less of a... I don't remember what they're called. Lesser Key of Solomon, that's what it's called. The Lesser Key of Solomon is not canonical to Christianity. I don't believe the game is like intentionally trying to summon demons or something, so. But again, if you're not comfortable with that, I understand. With those names being in the game. Ziggurat says, the art style's not my favorite, but it kind of grew on me by the end, and now I need season 2 ASAP. Yeah, right? Isn't it great? I understand why some people might not like the art style, and it didn't seem like a kind of art style I would enjoy at first, but like you said, by the end the art style was really growing on me, and now I kind of love it. I think it's the way that the characters are actually animated moving that makes the art style work for me. I think if the animation was any less good, I guess, or they moved in a way that was different from how they move in the show, maybe I wouldn't like it. I think it's literally just the way that they move that makes me like the art style, if that makes sense. Like, they use the medium of animation very well to make those designs work. Okay, I'm gonna move on from the face for now. I'll come back to it later. Oh, actually, you know what? I don't want to leave his eyebrows like this. How would your fantasy race interact with the human world? I don't actually necessarily know how to answer that question. Because it would be a very complicated answer. It's a very complicated answer, I'm sorry. That has to do with the geopolitics of their world and stuff like that. The planet of Noives is on fairly good terms with Earth, but tentative good terms, because there have been incidents with humans interacting with Psyquine that have been less than desirable, and others that have been very good, that have led to some great diplomatic strides to be made. So I think Noivessa in general is just very wary of the outside world. Think of it like the era of Japan, when Japan was kind of closed off to the world, and people were very cautious about the outside world and if it would be safe to interact with. No problem. I hope that answers the question enough, but I think there'll be more stuff covered in later stories about Earth's relations to other races, or species, I guess is the better word there, around the galaxy. Yes, humans are... See, this is what's interesting about making a project like this, is that when I tell people that Earth exists in this universe, it's like, wait, what? I thought this was just like a fantasy world. Yes, Earth exists because this is actually secretly... Well, for those who already know my work, they know this is this already, but this is secretly a sci-fi story. Not a fantasy story. No. It's really more of a... It really is more of a fantasy story, but wearing the skin of a sci-fi, because it's technically in the far future, and Earth exists, and all of these different planets, fantasy planets, kind of know of each other. So is it a fantasy story wearing a sci-fi skin suit, or a sci-fi story wearing a fantasy skin suit? Probably more of the former. There we go. Look at that. I'm not going to do the marking on his face just yet. I'm going to save that for a little later. Yeah, I'm liking how this is turning out. I was unsure about the face at first, but I think especially once you start seeing him emote with expressions and things, that's gonna be exciting. Let's do some stuff on the hair. When worlds collide, you can run, but no can hide. He had cool sunglasses for a sec. Yeah, that's what it looks like when the glass material isn't on it. So it's opaque instead of transparent. Will your game be available for Nintendo Switch too? We hope. Unfortunately, that's all I can say. Nintendo is a little hard to get into contact with for development kits and such. Have you kept watching Breaking Bad? No, not recently. I've been watching Witch Hat Atelier and playing Genshin. On my time off this week. The look of your characters reminds me a lot of Alistair from Hazbin Hotel. Well, Alistair is one of the only characters I like from that show, so I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you. Then again, the only episode of Hazbin Hotel that I have seen in its entirety is the pilot. And I liked Alistair in the pilot. I forgot if we talked about last week, if we talked about Game Overs last week. What do y'all think of Game Overs? I think we mentioned it a little bit, right? Oh yeah, I did talk about it. Never mind. Zero said it's a compliment because I like Hazbin. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, I talked about how there was like one scene I really didn't like, but the rest of it I liked. Basically. I'm just looking forward to more episodes of it to really form my opinions. It is very hard to form a good opinion on a show when you've only seen the first episode, you know? But the very fact that I want to see more is a good sign. If an episode 1 wants to make you watch more, that is one of the best things it can do. And y'all, as y'all know, I am a huge, even though there's only one episode out, I'm a huge fan of Knights of Guinevere. So that episode 1 was really good to me. It really made me want to see more. And yeah, I was saying last week too about how Witch Hat Atelier's episode 1 is also quite good. I love how beautiful that show looks. It's crazy. Rest in peace, Invincible. Every other Invincible is not getting the animation budget it deserves as compared to Witch Hat Atelier and Frieren and these other shows. Even indie shows like Gameoverse have better animation. I'm not blaming the animators, by the way. I'm directly blaming management and budget allocation. Because we have seen that when the Invincible animation team is able to lock in, they really lock in. They need more people on the team, I think, and more time and more budget. I think more people, that was probably the answer. Not that I know very much about the Invincible production cycle, because I am not there. I am not the one actually working on it. From what I can tell, that seems to be a good answer, is just getting more people involved. Invincible may be suffering, but at least it's not The Boys. I've been hearing... I don't watch The Boys, because personally from the stuff I heard about it, just seemed a little too much for me when it came to sexual content and humor. But I feel very sorry for you guys, because I heard that the finale was very bad. And that the show had promised things and implied stuff with the villain that never actually ended up happening, so it was super anticlimactic. Is that correct? Like, the advertising implied that Homelander was gonna go on this whole rampage or something, and that never actually happened, so it just felt disappointing. That's what I heard. Is that true? And I also heard people really hated the way the dialogue was written. Guys, I can't stop thinking that he kind of looks like Human Wheatley from Portal 2. That wasn't the intention, but he kind of looks like Human Wheatley now. Hello, I'm Human Wheatley. I am not a moron. Hold on, I think my tab just crashed. Hold on, yeah, my tab just crashed. Hold on. 1 second. going to my YouTube studio. I can't see y'all's chat for now. 1 second. Okay, there we go. I'm back to seeing the chat. What have I done? Zero, sorry, I couldn't see the chat. Zero XD Gold says, speaking of series, there is a webcomic I really love. It's called Misfits in Toyland, where a group of misfits are transformed into toys by Krampus for their misdeeds. That sounds like a fun idea. Is it a Western comic? Or Korean? I mean, it sounds Western by the premise, but I don't know. I mean, it sounds more European, actually. It's on Webtoon? Cool. Hello, Luna. Ta 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 ta. Luna asks, can I ask what made you redesign Deacon initially? Because to me, he looked like an NPC. I felt like he just looked too generic and unmemorable when stacked against the rest of the cast. So I wanted to change that specifically. And also, he looks maybe a little too young for 13? I don't know. 13-year-olds I think can very much vary in how they look these days. But he still seemed like he looked a little bit too young, so that was part of it too. But I don't want him to look too old either, you know? Zero XD says, I see the chat on my phone and there are little crowns next to some of the questions. What does that mean? That's basically the people who have chatted the most in the chat during the stream. My little chatters. My cute little chatters. Chattering away. My little chatties. The king of yapping. And here is thine crown. Good night, Lowest Expectations. Thanks for joining the stream. I might take a break from the hair for a while in a bit. That shadow across his chest is just a result from the baking process. It's the shadow from the strap of the... Yeah. What are some of the things that you guys are working on today, if you're working while watching the stream? Jack's hairy chest says, "Howdy there, love the game but never caught on a stream. Are there any plans to have a long-haired man?" Specific question. Kind of, if you... Okay, hold on. Let me show you an example of... Let me show you the long-haired guy we have in this game, and I'll see if you count it as a long-haired guy. Here is the guy with the longest hair in the game. Does this count as a long-haired guy to you? Or is this too short for you to count as a long-haired guy? Because if he does count, then yes, we do. If he doesn't count, then no, we don't. Since the game is super inspired by the 1940s, long hair styles for men were certainly not a trend then, so only one character has it, and he's medium, yeah. Not to say I won't have long-haired guys in the future, but for this setting in specific, it doesn't really fit. But for him it does, because he's supposed to be outside of society. He doesn't really care. He's doing his own thing. He's not conforming to the styles of the time. Thank you, Jack. How did you decide on an art style? Oh, it's kind of a long question. Long answer. I would say if you want to get like a more detailed answer on that, I would suggest going to my YouTube channel and clicking on the devlog playlist. There I have videos that go into a lot more depth of why I chose the setting I did and the styles that I did. But the short answer is I'm working on a universe where each planet is inspired by a different decade of the 1900s, and this planet happened to be the 1940s planet. So to go with the 40s style, I thought it would be really fun to do a noir inspiration. Have a noir inspiration. So I went with a mostly black and white art style to go with the noir idea a bit. But yeah, the videos cover this a lot more in detail if you're interested. Thanks! I hope you enjoy the videos. I really need to make a new one. I've been so busy. I can't keep up with the YouTube algorithm. I'm sorry, Oh my god! Whoa! Oh my goodness. Hello, Mr. 10 Years in the Joint. Thank you so much for your donation. Wow! Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Let me give you that dancing link right now. Hold on, let me open up Streamlabs real quick. Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much. That's a huge help. I gotta get you that Link dancing gif real quick. Let me go to my Streamlabs. And this next donation is just a test donation. It's not a real donation. This is so that it shows the dancing Link gift. There we go. There's our fake donator, Kevin. So there we have the Link dancing gif for your entertainment. Thank you so much, Mr. 10 Years in the Joint. Highly appreciated. Mr. 10 Years in the Joint, because you have donated $100, you get to write a message that will be hidden somewhere on Deacon's model. What message would you like to put down? I mean, you can put a couple of them if you want. And it has to be appropriate. I'm so sorry, Jack. I don't know how to pronounce I don't know how to pronounce aid, but I hope you have a good holiday. Hope you have a very good holiday. So, Mr. 10 Years, would you like to write some messages on Deacon? Alright, you have a good one? I just thought you meant a link to a video about dancing. Yeah, Idea Maker, this has been kind of a meme on this stream. That way back like 8 years ago when I set up my Streamlabs, I put in some link gifs for the donations. So Mr. 10 Years in the Joint, he really loves that Link dancing one. So whenever he donates, I have to make sure that that goes on the screen. What's Deacon? Oh, so Deacon is this character that we're painting right here. And I'm doing this little thing where if you donate more than $10, you get to write a message on the inside of the model that won't be seen during gameplay. Kind of like some of these, you can write a message on one of these little hidden areas right here, as long as it's appropriate. So if you'd like to write a little message hidden inside the model somewhere, you can put it in the chat. And I will write it on the model if it's appropriate. Jax says, I can't wait for this to be part of the trivia on the Noirmore Academy wiki. Yeah. That sounds like that would definitely happen. The message is 10 years in the joint made you a deacon. Oh, that's hilarious. I like that. Yeah, he spent 10 years in prison, and he came out a religious man. He came out a preacher. Alright, let's write that up here on the dark part of the hair. Let's write that up here. Okay. 10 years in the joint made you a deacon. There you go. Thank you so much for your donation. That is so generous of you. definitely appreciate it. Jack says, I was just talking about never seeing any religious unicorns in media. Good point. There will be a couple of religious characters in this game. Do you still hate Spike? Sorry. I don't hate Spike, I just don't care for him. Thanks to Kevin, he was always a real one. Yep. That good old Kevin. Kevin the fake donator. Bringing him up just to bring the GIF up. I have no idea why that $100 thing did not contribute to the super chat goal, because it literally blows the goal away hugely. So YouTube seems to be being weird right now, but I would say that that goal has been achieved for sure. So thanks again. You blew away our super chat goal for today. Speaking of super chat goals and super chat money, I am going to be, speaking of super chat goals and super chat money, we are going to be recording voice acting next month. We're going to start recording more voice acting next month. So all of the donations that you guys are contributing is going to go towards paying the voice actors next month. I'm super excited to share with you some of the VA stuff we'll be doing next month. And Idea Maker, thank you so much for your donation. Thank you so much for your support. Y'all have been so kind today. Thank you. Take a snap, it'll last longer. Insert flash effect here. That's a good one. Thank you very much. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Well, for the Idea Maker one, I don't think it counts because I think it's supposed to be 10 for the message. So I think that's why it didn't count it for the YouTube goal. But it's still strange why it didn't count, figure out why it didn't count yours and Idea Makers as part of the goal. But again, the goal has been blown away, so don't worry about it. Technically, Idea Maker, you could write 10 messages if you wanted. $10 per message. technically. Wait, did I address the wrong... Did I address the wrong person? Did I say 10 years in the joint? Whatever. Sorry, I'm blanking out here. Guys, I'm feeling good. Not. Thank you for the support. Writes all of Genesis 1. Writes all of Genesis 1. That would be very funny. How would I even fit that? Oh, and sorry, what was I gonna say? Whatever, I don't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, sorry, it was 10. That's okay. No problem. I really appreciate the dono. Oh, why was I saying I was happy? Oh, that's right. Not only... that's what I was about to say. Not only for thank you so much for the donations, but I'm happy because I finished a really important commission today. Contract work for a company I work with, which has helped bring in a lot more cash for the voice acting, which is super exciting. And so now that contract project is pretty much done. And I've got some other contracts in the works that are gonna help pay for voice acting as well. So, woohoo! It looks like things are going well for the game. I would say my biggest stressor is still just how long it's going to take to finish this. I'm still gunning for about a year and 5 months from now to be the release date, so there's still a lot of work to go. We can do it, it's just I wonder how long it's going to take is all. Around December 2027, yeah. Maybe, it might not be December, it might be more like November or something like that, because a lot of games release in December for the Christmas rush, and I don't want to get caught up in that. So, we'll see. Generally, the end of the year is usually the best time to release games. That's what marketing stuff says anyway. I'm not sure how true it is these days or how true it is for indie and Steam games. I mean, it makes more sense back in the days when everything was physical and you would have, you know, Christmas shopping and stuff. But nowadays on Steam, I'm not sure if that really holds as much weight as for advice-wise. However, our game being more on the creepy side, it does make more sense for us to release in the more creepy, cold times of the year. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll release in October, because I almost think that November is more of a thematic, it's more thematically resonant with the game setting. But I don't know, we'll see. It'll be ready when it's ready. That's all I can say. Don't let Rockstar hear you or they'll delay your game another year. Yeah, imagine I just release it the same month as GTA 6 and I make $0. I wonder if anybody is really going to be releasing their game when GTA 6 comes out, because that's just career suicide at that point. Like all those games that had to push back their release because of Silksong coming out. That was crazy. Apparently, some games coming out just on the same week as Silksong, like, made them have way less sales as they could have, which is kind of sad, but what can you do? Okay, there's still more to do on Deacon's hair, but I'm tired of doing the hair right now, so I'm gonna work on something else. But the question is what? What should I do next? I think his ears. Let's do his ears. January's usually, again, this is in marketing terms that I don't know if it's still, I don't know if these marketing rules even make sense in the modern day and on Steam, but the general rule is that releasing stuff in January is not a good idea because everybody is tapped out money-wise from Christmas. So generally, media is discouraged from releasing things in January because of that. That's what I've learned from marketing class type stuff anyway. Have you considered selling hand-painted Judith miniatures on the store? I have. I can't do it just yet because I'm still experimenting with some printing stuff and experimenting with some painting techniques as well. But yeah, I'd love to sell some Judith minis, maybe some unpainted and some painted. Definitely gotta paint in this bit too. Good question. Did you ever design the antelope cycline? I believe I did. Wait, no, I guess I didn't. I'm trying to remember what counts as an antelope. Because I know I'll have to get back to you on that. Ears. Wait, let me fill this in too. Where are the back of his ears? What the heck? The hey? Okay. Now let's do I was able to save his tail texture from the first go around, so I might have to alter it. I don't know if I'm ready to do the horn yet, because that goes with the gold, and then I have to... Oh, you know what? I'm gonna do the collar piece here. Collar is usually pretty easy. Okay, that one's pretty much done now. Well, maybe I can touch up the back a little bit, but it won't really be visible because of the hair. Okay. Freeze, unfreeze all. Now let's do the tie. That's a good question, Cat's Library. I think it would just really depend on the shop. Maybe some shops do a thing where they offer different kinds of... I think it would probably... Where they offer like different specific kinds of styles and fabrics, and then you choose the color of that you want. I'm assuming though that there are probably very specific dyes for specific families. Like if a family is on the upper end, you could say like the richer side of things, they might have a specific dye that their family uses and recipe that only their family uses. So they might want everything they get to be made with that specific dye composition, perhaps. So it might be the same color as another family's dye, but it has a different recipe than it. Not everything is black and white. Minerals retain their original colors, mostly. Cat's Library says, this purple uses rare snails and this purple was made by in a lab sort of thing. Yeah, totally. Guys, I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna take a restroom break. I'll BRB. Hello, I'm back. Alright, let's get back into it. Okay. I'm a little unsure what to do with the tie. Hold on. Oh, you know what I could do? I could add kind of a little pattern to the tie, maybe. That might be fun. Like maybe some dots or some checkers. In any case, I'll worry about that later. If someone wanted to get a gift for someone who had a different color, like if they wanted to get a wedding gift with new gloves, would they be allowed to do that? Yes, and they would probably ask beforehand if there's a special dye recipe that is used for them, for that family. horrible knot, really? I guess I wouldn't know. Both of them have the same knot. It's not supposed to crease in the middle. Oh, interesting. Let me look up. A lot of these ties I'm seeing crease in the middle. Pretty much every of them do. Or not so much, at least. Yeah, I think it would be very nice to have some kind of pattern on Deacon's tie. It'd be a really nice way to stand out. I don't know if I'm going to do it just yet. But... okay, hold on. Let me try something. Posted some good examples on the dev channel. Oh, I see, I see. Interessante. I do like the stripes in that example there. Though unfortunately I can't do those kind of stripes because I have to make it perfectly symmetrical. Oof. Okay, hold on. Hello, Celestial. Welcome in. I'm glad you had a good dinner. I do not like that. Let's try something else. I don't think that's quite what I want either, but I'm just gonna keep it like that for now. For now. Oh, well, you know what? It might work. I found it. Perfect. That was easy to find. Let's do a little bit of painting on this one. It needs to be symmetrical because that's how I unwrapped it. Everything I do on one side of the model is going to show up on the other side of the model. I can't change it. Yes, except for the one arm that has scars. That one I did make sure to adjust so it wouldn't be symmetrical. Okay, cool. There's that. Done. Woohoo! Very nice. Now what? Maybe I could start on the work boots. Okay. Let's look at these shoes. Let me get some work boots reference. All right. Phoenix says, I just received a book I ordered about storyboarding techniques and different shots. That sounds really cool. cool. And very educational, too. Which of your creatures would you like to get a plushie or a t-shirt made of? The fluff bats or the book sprites? I think for me, I'd probably want one of the Blossine as a plush. I like cats. Does Gina have a fluff bat toy? Probably. Gina superstar. I have plans for what will happen with Gina. That's all I'll say. Highest king superstar. She'll live happily ever after, right? Right? Of course, of course. They would do hand-drawn animation on this planet. They don't have the capabilities of CGI. Yeah, I imagine they would have stop motion. They'd probably really like it. In fact, I imagine stop motion would be very popular in Nuevas. Alright, I think that's it for me for today. We got some good work done, especially up top. And next time you join us, we're going to be working on the suit and other stuff. So yeah, thank you everybody for joining, and thank you again so much for all the support. This was really very kind of everybody who joined in today. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next week. Bye bye!